When I first saw the teaser for The Shallows, I thought it was a great idea. Here you have this survival thriller about this girl who's trying to survive on this reef against a very, very pesky shark. The teaser for the film was great. It just showed a little bit of the setup, and then they released the full trailer and showed way too much of what was going to happen, which really had me worried that they spoiled too much of the film. Thankfully, they didn't. While I still think that they showed too much of the movie, there were actually a few rather large parts of the film, things that they didn't even hint at the trailer, that surprised me. So I was happy with that because I like having something happen. And I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't know that was going to happen because the trailer didn't spoil that massive thing for me. So good, thumbs up there. As I said, it's about a girl played by Blake Lively. She's out surfing on this hidden beach and gets knocked off her surfboard and bitten by this great white shark and ends up taking refuge on this really small reef. She needs to get to shore, but it's too far away, and the beach that she's on is this very secluded beach that barely anybody knows about. So she's out there all by herself, and she has to figure out how she's going to survive, what she's going to do to be able to get to the shore, because as soon as she gets in the water, this shark is just right on her. First off, the movie is beautiful. The cinematography and the overhead shots of the beach and just the water and the deep blues of everything, it was really nice to see. It was just such a colorful, pretty movie. All the colors were very vibrant and stuck out, and it was nice to see it, not that muted gray that we've gotten in a lot of other films, because this does kind of delve a little bit into horror territory. It does get a little more muted, especially because it goes into night, but when it's day and the sun is out, it's just a very pretty looking movie. Blake Lively does a great job of carrying the film because the majority of it is just her by herself. Well, not exactly by herself. She's actually there with my new favorite co-star, Steven Seagal. I don't want to spoil it, but the seagull was my favorite character in the film. I'll just leave it at that. My gripes of the film were fairly minor. It's just there were certain points in the film where I thought that there should have been more intensity, like she's swimming away from the shark, and it didn't feel quite as tense as I thought it should have. I guess mostly because there were some moments where the CGI shark didn't really look the best. The other thing was there was just really odd choices of things. Whenever she was talking on her cell phone, they would have this little screen pop up and next to her head, so we could see who she was talking to. And then there was a point where she's looking through pictures on her phone and they had this thing pop up next to her, and so we're getting the audience is getting a better look at what she's seeing on her phone, and I don't know, it just was unnecessary. And then there was the random, from out of nowhere, jellyfish that suddenly glow this neon purple translucent thing. I guess it was so we could get a better look at them, but it was weird. It was just out of the blue. It's like she's swimming through jellyfish and all of a sudden it kind of pauses and they all light up. Another thing was, I was surprised that there was a lot of kids in the theater. And I'm thinking, wow, this is a lot of kids for an R-rated film, because I didn't know what the movie was rated. And I thought it was R, because there was a lot of things in the movie that were pretty graphic and felt a little more R-rated. The language, some of the violence, some of the blood and guts. There was only one moment where it did feel like they held back, which I'm guessing was something that probably got cut in order to get them down to PG-13, but I thought there was R, and then when I got out, I was like, holy crap, no wonder there was so many kids in there. It was a PG-13 movie. But credit where credit's due. Yes, they pushed PG-13 forward. Also, and this is not a spoiler, I'm not going to spoil anything, I was surprised at the ending. Things kind of went where I expected, but there was a few left turns and things that she did that they didn't show in the trailer, thankfully, and I didn't expect them to happen. The Shallows is an entertaining horror thriller. It's not without its flaws, but it still ends up being a pretty good nail-biter. The directing was occasionally sloppy, there was some shoddy CGI, and a couple of head-scratcher moments, but the intensity of the good stuff more than made up for it. Blake Lively, the beautiful cinematography, and Steven Seagal carry this film along. Even with the sketchy CG, it's one of the better shark movies to come along in quite a while.